Tonight on KGW News, COVID cases on the rise. The treatment options available now that could be a game changer in patient care.
And later, stepping up in an emergency.
Those first few critical minutes before the EMS personnel arrive can really mean life or death for someone.
Meet the two guardian angels who brought a Portland man back to life.
I am a very lucky man.
But first, struck by vandalism.
It's pretty close to home. That's scary.
An anti-abortion group is now picking up the pieces after their building was hit with a Molotov cocktail. Your news starts now. Tonight, Kaiser police are asking who set fire to an office used by an anti-abortion group. Good evening, I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Mulco. Investigators say they found evidence of homemade explosives at the group's office. As halfway across the country in Wisconsin, another organization was also targeted. The fires and vandalism all in the wake of that Supreme Court leak that could mean the end of federal abortion protections. Here's Catherine Cook.
Burn marks char the entryway at Oregon Right to Life in Kaiser. Police say around 10:30 Sunday night, someone tried to break a window at the anti-abortion organization, then lit 2 Molotov cocktails and threw them at the building. Someone saw the flames from River Road and called 911.
Yeah, it's pretty close to home. That's scary.
Kimberly Smith lives right behind Oregon Right to Life.
It's not a good feeling, especially knowing we have grandkids that play in the backyard.
Fortunately, police say no one was inside the building and there wasn't a lot of damage. The fire comes just days after someone leaked a U.S. Supreme Court draft opinion suggesting the court may soon overturn Roe v. Wade, the landmark decision that legalized abortion.
Use their kind words to influence public opinion as opposed to putting lives in danger.
Kaiser Police Lieutenant Trevor Wenning says regardless of the subject, calls like this are upsetting. He says detectives and an arson investigator are working the case. They're asking anyone with photos or video of the fire or suspicious activity in the area to share them with police. In a statement, Oregon Right to Life Executive Director Lois Anderson said, quote, "Understandably, our team is shaken up by this attack. We are committed to taking proper precautions to protect the safety of our staff as we move forward. We are thankful for the quick action of our first responders committed to maintaining a safe environment to operate in this community." In Wisconsin, police responded to a similar arson on Sunday that did a lot more damage. This one at Wisconsin Family Action, an anti-abortion group in Madison. Besides the fire, someone vandalized the building with a message, quote, "If abortions aren't safe, then you aren't either." Back in Kaiser.
It's concerning.
Police and neighbors are anxious for their own answers.
Of course, you hope that they catch whoever did it and they're, prosecuted to the fullest extent.
In Kaiser, Catherine Cook, KGW News.
Now to an update on another act of vandalism. Today, the man suspected of setting fire to a Portland mosque and vandalizing 2 synagogues had his day in court. Today, 34-year-old Michael Bivens went before a judge for the first time and faced several counts of bias crime, along with other charges. He pleaded not guilty to the charges of arson, criminal mischief, and intimidation. Bivens is accused of breaking windows at the synagogues of Congregation Shir Tikva and Congregation Beth Israel, and of spray painting an anti-Semitic phrase on the side of Congregation Beth Israel Synagogue. That's in addition to allegedly trying to set fire to the Muslim Community Center of Portland on North Vancouver. The judge set bail at $45,000, despite the state requesting that Bivens be held behind bars. He's due back in court on May 17th.
Also in court today, family members took the stand to defend Nancy Crampton Brophy. She is the romance novelist accused of killing her husband, Daniel Brophy, who was a chef and instructor at the Oregon Culinary Institute. Now, Nancy's niece testified about the stability of their relationship, and that is playing into defense's chief argument that Nancy could not have killed Dan because they were very much in love. At some point, we expect Nancy Brophy to take the stand in her own defense, though, of course, that is subject to change. The judge says the trial itself should wrap up by the end of next week.
Another slow uptick in the number of COVID cases in Oregon. OHA is reporting a rolling average of nearly 1,300 new cases over the last 7 days.
And experts say hospitalizations are still relatively low, the illness not as severe. Perhaps something that is playing a bit of a role here, more options for treatment that weren't widely available during previous waves. So let's bring in Alma McCarty here. Alma, you spoke to a pharmacist who laid out at least 4 different possibilities here.
Laurel, David, for a long time, the only way you'd get treatments or therapeutics for COVID-19 was if you were sick enough to be in the hospital. Nowadays, doctors and pharmacists want to get you these medications as soon as possible.
From antiviral pills to IV infusions, there are more options now to treat COVID-19 than ever before.
Really, the game changer is that we have these therapeutics that we can give you once you start to be symptomatic, essentially, and we can prevent you from coming to the hospital at all.
Dr. Young-Yoon Ham is an infectious disease pharmacist at OHSU.
We have really 4 different early treatment options, and they're all pretty different from each other.
The most common, a pill called Paxlovid.
You take it for 5 days. It can reduce the amount of people going into the hospital for COVID by about 90%.
Those unable to take Paxlovid because of kidney or liver issues have other options. They're given via IV on-site at OHSU. One of those is called remdesivir.
When we started using it in hospitals when people were already pretty sick, it didn't actually seem all that effective. But we do have a study out for remdesivir where we start giving it to people at the point of mild disease. And there, it's actually very effective. It's like just as effective as Paxlovid.
There's also a second pill from Merck. Those studies show its efficacy is lower than the 3 other treatments.
It's a 5-day course. You take it twice a day.
Dr. Ham says these treatments are all available in our region, and chances are you might qualify for at least one.
Just ask. I don't want people to be like scared away by stories that they've heard about how limited these treatments are, because like other places have limited them more than we have. So just reach out to a healthcare provider, see if you qualify, let them make that decision, but you shouldn't not reach out because you don't think you qualify.
And again, Dr. Ham tells me when you start to feel the first onset of those COVID symptoms, make that call to your provider right away. The earlier you get these therapeutics into your system, the more effective they are. David?
Yeah, it never hurts to ask. Alma, thank you. We are just over a week now from the Oregon primary, and with gun violence top of mind for many voters, we are hearing from investigators on the front lines who say there has been a huge increase in drug-related crime. Their view is that much of that is tied to a ballot measure voters approved in 2020. Pat Doris took a closer look tonight on the
Measure 110 essentially decriminalizes small amounts of hard drugs. Instead of criminal penalties, the law calls for treatment centers to be set up all over the state. I got to talk with Sergeant Matt Ferguson, the leader of Multnomah County Sheriff's Office Special Investigation Unit, about how the measure has changed their work.
Ferguson is willing to show us drugs and guns seized recently in 2 separate cases. Those little blue pills are fentanyl.
And it's everywhere. It's everybody we contact. I have a couple of cases that are back-to-back cases we did this week. And in each case, it's fentanyl possession and stolen handguns. And this is almost everything we do right now.
How much does Measure 110 have to do with it?
Measure 110 has everything to do with it.
Ferguson said because Measure 110 reduced possession for small amounts of drugs, including oxycodone, the drug business has flourished.
The fentanyl pills are counterfeit Oxycontin pills. And by decriminalizing that, it's basically legitimized criminal organizations, and the drug possession, use, and sale is just rampant with very little consequences, and it's taken away our tools as police officers to sort of interdict that.
Reported drug offenses in Portland dropped from 880 the year before Measure 110 went into effect to 364 the year after. Police still do have some tools, and Ferguson was involved in a bust last June in which investigators found 500 fentanyl pills along with 44 firearms, 2 of which were machine guns, and 1,000 grams of methamphetamine. Oregon has long been a favorite distribution hub for drug cartels in Mexico who seem to like the I-5 corridor. It's possible that the passage of Measure 110 came at the same time that cartels were increasing their distribution of fentanyl, making it easier for users and dealers in Oregon.
Fentanyl is a lot easier to produce. It's a lot easier to ship because heroin has a very distinct smell. It's expensive. It's hard to make. You have to get it here. Dogs will alert to it if you have a odor-seeking dog. It's just hard to get. Fentanyl is super easy. It's pill form. You can get thousands of them relatively easily. They sell for as little as $3 a pill. And heroin is as much as $100 a gram. So if I'm a user, which Portland has this massive user base, fentanyl is just the way to go. It's just a better business model for the cartel.
I also got a chance to ride along with the sheriff's office as they staked out a local hotel that's been a problem spot for drug deals. You can see my full report now on the KGW YouTube channel.
Our thanks to Pat for that. Just one of many perspectives there. For an in-depth look at the big stories of the day, check out The Story. That is each weekday at 6 right here on KGW.